all 58 county libraries in the state of California, and we're all getting the library card there. And so I'm fronting this as a fundraiser for the libraries, and that's where I'm going to be committing my volunteer time. So my last meeting with you will be February, and then I will be no longer involved in our commission or in our city politics. So that's my announcement.
What about if we join with the social services?
And I suggest that we put that on our agenda for February. And it is one of the things I will say when I talked to Maria and said that I felt that I needed to invest myself more in libraries. I did suggest to her, as you all know, because I sent it out to everybody, I suggested that we consider merging the senior commission with the social services commission.
We get nothing done compared to that.
Correct. That's right.
But again, let's put that in there as a future, as a future discussion topic. You don't want to get into discussing it now, but yes.
So February, we'll discuss it.
And we'll just note that again when we get to upcoming agenda topics, we'll solidify it there. Yeah.
Before the next meeting, can you bring that up to them?
I will certainly be bringing that up to them before the next meeting. Yes,
Good.
yes.
I'm actually going to be writing a letter,
Yeah.
but I will be addressing the council in my letter.
Okay.
And I will copy everybody on it as an individual, not as a commission member, but just my thoughts on it and what I would suggest.
Okay.
I'm
Hi.
also on
Hello.
the commission.
Hello.
Hi.
The Yellow Commission for Aging and Adult Services,
Right.
and they get a lot done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, it can be agendized for next month, but at this point, there's really no need to give further discussion. We are right at the announcements, so Cindy Unger, did you have anything you wanted to share with the commission today?
I saw the agenda and when you guys were talking about the senior resource fair,
Yeah.
that's why I came.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
We are going to be discussing that as a
And as
potential
soon as
outreach.
we can do it, I would appreciate that because I have clients to see.
Okay.
But don't,
Well,
change
we have a
anything.
presentation, but
All right.
even though if you have to go and you just wanted to express that you wanted to be a part of that, any resource fair, if the commission decides to go that route, we have it duly noted already, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have just a comment, but I'll wait. I mean, I
Okay,
Can
you
we
got
put
some
it
time?
under item 4? Once we get through item 3, can we put it in public comment?
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
So do we have any more announcements from commissioners or staff or council liaisons?
Okay.
Okay, moving on to item number 4, public comments.
Oh, perfect.
All right, you were invited for a public comment,
you.
madam.
My name is Cindy Unger. I've been in this city since 1962, so seen a lot of different things. One of my first volunteer jobs was here with some OGs, really some OGs. So Pat Kangas, if
Yeah.
that name rings a bell to anyone. She let me come here and volunteer while I was prepping to open a care home that served people with Alzheimer's disease back in 1986. So it's been a minute since I've been in this world. Done a few things since then. I ran that for 20 years. And then I've been working in the field of serving seniors outside of assisted living. So I've been with home care agencies. I'm currently now a geriatric care manager. Seen and participated in a lot of senior resource fairs, and both here and in Solano County. And my favorite fairs, I think, and where we got the most participation from the participants was when people were allowed to give presentations. So you have your little, hour or whatever of open resources at the tables. And then you have different presentations that people can sign up for. They're 15 minutes, and it's, an overview of not what we do particularly. I wouldn't go and say, oh, this is what elder care management does. I would give, not me personally, but somebody would give a presentation on, mini wills and trusts. Here are the reasons why you need to do something like that. Or give a presentation on, kind of the journey of aging. What things do you need to prepare in advance? Or healthy aging, brain health promotion. Just different sorts of things. I think those both in Solano and in Woodland, we did it one time like that at the Woodland Senior Center. And it was really, people were participating more, asking way more questions. And they weren't just going kind of from booth to booth, which is, sometimes what happens. But anyways, and I would love to help. I can, gather some folks to be your vendors.
I think that is such a jolly good idea. I went to a vegan fair of all things in Santa Cruz about a year ago, and they did exactly what you're describing. But all the fair was open for people to take it however they wanted. But they had a great agenda where you could pop in to these little presentations throughout the day.
Yeah.
And my word, did I just have a blast.
Yeah.
I learned so much. It was really informative. And I agree with you. I think you can also bring in more people. You can bring in a different audience. But that's a jolly good
Yeah.
idea.
I mean, there are, I'm learning right now, going to be doing a Zoom call with how to prepare people with intellectual disabilities and Alzheimer's disease or dementia.
I love it.
I mean, it's not just, it's the whole
Yeah.
adult services kind of thing, like you were talking about. What is the Commission on Aging and Adult Services? We're all getting there, so we better get ready.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. And do we have your contact
We
details?
do.
Yeah.
We
We do,
certainly
okay,
do.
okay.
And it hasn't changed in
No.
forever, so.
Because I'm going to volunteer for the resource fair as well. I thought that was one of our
Yeah.
really hugely successful programs last year. That and the jewelry sale. Those are the two things I want to volunteer with for
Okay.
the senior center.
Yeah, but
in
I mean, I'd be
2026.
In
happy to
May,
be on
Older
a little
Americans
planning.
Month. We'll be discussing it
Yeah.
further.
Okay, yep, love it, love it.
Okay.
Thank you so
Fantastic.
much, Cindy. Thank
And I
you.
hope to talk with one or a few of you, and I'll see y'all again in May.
Thanks a lot.
Bye,
Thank
Cindy.
you.
Hi. How are
Oh, that was
you?
good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just a kind of public comment we'd love to hear. Okay, so, still in item 4, in-person public comment. Speaker was asked, well, we don't have anybody left here, so.
Do you want to share, since Liz came in, with the announcement that you made? just a
Liz, I
minute
made an
ago?
announcement that I am resigning with the senior commission effective March 1st. And I'm going to be devoting myself to the library. It's going to be my statewide. It's going to be my new volunteer activity. But as you just heard me say, I'm still going to be involved with the senior center because we do some programs that I really value here. And one of them is the resource fair, which I had such a blast at last year. And I definitely want to come for it this year. And also the jewelry sale, which all the women in my life are like, when is that jewelry fair that they had last year? That was such a great sale. So, yeah, but I'm not going to be involved with the city anymore in any formal way. So, yes, that was my announcement.
What are you gonna do if we join the social services?
No, I'm not. No. It's not for me. It's not my style. I have a whole different style. I'm just, it's not, the way the city works is just not my style. And I've always had a feeling about them. I mean, people have suggested I get into politics forever. And I don't have that personality. It's not me. I'm a free person and I'm creative and I really like to use myself in a different way. So.
But for that topic, it was mentioned, when we get to that part of the agenda, for upcoming agenda topics, you can absolutely, as a commission, then just, if it's something that other commissioners would, it's not agreeing to anything, it's just agreeing to put it on the next agenda in February to discuss it, that's all. We just
Yeah.
can't discuss it here because
Right.
it's not on any agenda, but.
Got it.
But it definitely can be a topic, it just needs to be,
Next month.
goes all the formal
Yeah.
channels, yes.
Can we put it on now for next?
Well, we're
month?
gonna get to that and it'll be on there, yeah.
And then
But yeah.
that presentation was from,
Cindy Unger was just here from public comment, and she is a geriatric care manager, and what she had to leave, she couldn't stay for the agenda item she was here for, but she's, would love to be a part of a resource fair, if the commission so chooses to have that, or be a part of it. I will have one, but I'd love to have commission representation there. And she was talking about the benefit of having mini presentations in addition to the resource fair. So we've done that with like travel training, where we've had like the resource fair and then little breakout rooms like this room. you know, where people can come at a certain time for a 15 to 20-minute presentation and we can like rotate them.
No, I think that's such a good idea. And you know, Maria, we could have this time, instead of just like a commission table for the city commission like we did last time, we could have it for all the commissions. Like we could just have a commission table.
Totally.
And get people who are interested to sign up for consideration for whatever commission they would be interested in, be it the Social Service Commission, the Transportation Commission, you know, and that way it's just like broader and it's a resource.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one more resource, and I think that might be a better way to do it.
Okay, we can definitely, we'll discuss that even more on,
Okay.
on the, but absolutely.
Do we have any written comments that we have received that we should be talking about today?
No.
Okay, that's good. Consent calendar, item number 5.
Nothing.
Nothing, okay, so we have nothing on the consent calendar. Item number 6, regular items. This is where Kelly comes in.
Well, hey,
Kelly, with the Community Gardens Program, you're on.
Can I check in about something?
Yes,
Did we not have minutes from our last meeting?
I just didn't have it on this agenda, but we will have the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, welcome.
Meeting agenda?
Yes, right at the front counter over there. There's one in the public binder. And actually, I have an extra one right here.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Nguyen. What is the age for senior citizen? 55?
To partake here at the senior center, you can be any age to come here to the senior center.
Oh, okay. Okay, I will stay a little bit.
But we are through with the public comments and we are on to the first agenda item
Number
6A.
6, we're on the reverse side now.
We're on the Community Gardens Program. So Kelly, take it. Yeah.
May I interrupt?
No, actually you cannot. I am the chairwoman of this commission,
Oh, okay.
and we are getting ready for a presentation now. So I'm sorry,
Okay, that's
you
okay.
have
I
missed.
lost my mobile home at Rancho Yolo Senior Parker, and there's no legal, there's no case against me. There's I
Okay,
believe that-
excuse me. I actually live there and I know who you are, so I'm going to ask you to leave. Please leave. Thank you.
I've never seen you before.
Yes, please leave.
What's your
Well,
name?
we
You are so rude, you know.
people have a right to.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they did to me, you know. To make a
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm
Marcia,
sorry,
you
ma'am.
okay?
We are through with public comment right now. But if you are concerned about
You're
something,
so rude. You violated, people's rights.
Bye-bye.
And all commission listen to that. That's what they did to me. You are thief.
Okay.
Master, stop yourself destructing program, destroy yourself, communist agency, no recycle.
We don't
No,
need,
she's
we don't need
crazy.
any enemies.
She's already
It's
disrupted many
okay.
meetings in our community.
All right.
Sorry, Kelly, your
Okay,
turn.
excitement at Senior Commission.
Yeah.
So, thank you for letting me come talk about our Community Gardens program. I'm Kelly Vidich. I'm one of the program coordinators in Parks and Community Services, and I report to Maria. The gardens are one of the programs that I get to oversee. I'll do a quick background. We have 3 different community gardens throughout the city. Our biggest one is at 5th Street. It's our biggest and oldest. We have over 100 community gardeners participating there. It's where we have our kids garden club that happens in fall and in the spring, and then the summer kids summer camps. Then we have our cannery garden, which is specific to cannery residents. We have 28 raised beds there at the cannery. And then our newest is our Grande garden. It's on the corner of Grande and Mercedes. It's half reserved for residents of that Grande Avenue development and half open to any other gardeners. So we have 20, not quite raised beds there, but bed plots. So what I actually am going to talk about today is a project we have that's going to go on at our 5th Street garden that we're hoping addresses some of the challenges we've seen with our older gardeners and some of the cost barriers we see with any age gardener. So we have this big open space at the back of the garden that hadn't been utilized. And then we had, Bermuda grass is a challenge all throughout Davis. It's a definite challenge in our garden. So we have 3 plots that we had to take offline that were not in any condition to be rented out, and we've covered them and we're solarizing them, and we're going to use those plots as well for this. And what we want to do is install raised beds. So they're going to be 8 by 2 by 2 raised beds that we rent out individually or offer to community groups like Mutual Housing, which is right down the street and doesn't have garden space for their residents. And then any of our current gardeners, we have one current gardener that has been a longtime gardener. She just cannot maintain her plot. She can't be out in the summer when it's hot. She can't be out in the winter when it's cold. It's hard to get down to the ground. Our Fifth Street plots are just patches of dirt. So you're doing 18 by 20 maintenance, and so some gardeners get to a point where they can't maintain that anymore. So we have fellows that came to us through the California Volunteers College Corps program, and they're working on getting this project launched throughout the year. So we get them at no cost to us. They volunteer about 12 to 15 hours a week. They get a stipend from California Volunteers that helps offset their education costs. And we get some extra people power to go out and complete projects that we otherwise just don't have the bandwidth and capacity for. So our hope with these, we think we're gonna have between 22 and 24 raised beds in the back. And our hope is to make gardening a little more accessible for those that the large plots just aren't practical for, either now or any longer.
Love that. And what do you think is the timeline
So-
from start to finish?
We have started, so our parks team went out and they flattened the space for us.
Mhm.
So we got all of the debris out, they flattened the space. We have a volunteer work day this Saturday with about 55 volunteers signed up, and the hope is they will get after they flatten the space. Of course, we had all this rain and sunshine, so we've got a little bit of weeds back there that are gonna be pulled out, and then they're gonna be putting plastic down in the area that we're gonna place the beds. Pending some budget stuff, we're hoping to order the beds next month and have them installed by March. They're gonna be, as I said, 8 by 2 by 2. We're gonna make sure that we have at least 3-foot walkways between each bed so that gardeners can navigate around their space. And we hope to have those installed, filled, and start renting them in March. The other part the fellows are gonna work on is they're looking at some resources for our new gardeners. There's some different nonprofits that offer like a starter kit for gardeners. And looking at partnering with things like Central Park Gardens or our master gardeners, of which we have a few master gardeners that are gardeners at our Fifth Street Garden, to do some classes and about kind of like intro to gardening, things that they should think of, talk about, complementary plants. We have a wealth of knowledge at our garden, and so we want to make sure that new gardeners and gardeners that don't know a lot, like I consider myself a gardener that does not know a lot about gardening, and so hopefully transfer some of that knowledge and set them up for success.
And then you talked about a spot here as well.
Yes, so down the road, our other hope is to have at least one raised bed here at the senior center that is a true community garden. That's something that, we'll plant things in and anyone can come by, harvest the plants, do the weeding.
And basically maintain it.
Yeah,
but
maintain
seasonal.
it.
Yeah. And what's the outreach look like?
So we'll start with outreach to community partners for the Fifth Street. So Mutual Housing is one I work with on other programs and other agencies just to see if there's interest in them having a bed and maintaining it. And then to some of our current gardeners or those on the wait list to see if someone's interested in, I have people interested in half plots. We don't have a lot of half plots available right now, so they might want to do a smaller one. And then it'll be overall community.
Nice. And
outreach.
we'll be doing whatever outreach we can to
Yeah.
various senior communities, including Rancho Yola, which is right adjacent basically,
Yes.
so.
So certainly, since part of this is we're hoping, to give gardeners that don't have the mobility anymore to garden out of the bare dirt, so we can put things in the scene, we can put things in our other PCS outreach materials.
This is at Fifth Street and what?
It's Fifth Street between L and Pole Line.
Yeah.
So if you're driving down Fifth Street, the easiest way to find it is we have a bunch of white rock out front. So that is our landmark. The beds are at the very back of the garden up against the wall in an area that was just bare space. It was underutilized.
It's really close to the DMV.
Yeah, it's close to
Yeah.
I
the
drive
DMV.
past it all the time, like 20 times a day. Yeah, it's a great location. There's
Yeah.
even a bus stop, I think, right out there.
There
is.
as well. So, yeah, it's a fantastic program. What is the charge? You said there's a fee for getting one of these beds.
So for the beds, we don't know the exact cost yet. I think it'll be around $50, which is what our smallest bed rents for at the cannery development, and these are going to be similarly sized
That's per year.
per year. And then right now, all of our plots have a $56 deposit when you first sign up. There's also, we have a fee subsidy scholarship program, so if income is a barrier and you qualify for that program, that can be used for your rental fees.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're excited. Was not a slow start, but like it's really moving now, and you're seeing the changes with the garden.
How long has it taken you to get this program in place?
Well, so I had the idea. I don't know how many years ago.
1992.
But we learned this summer that we would have these fellows,
Right.
and so I said, hey, I've got the project like,
The
ready
plot,
to go for
right.
them, and so they started in September, right when UC Davis came into session, and so they worked on October, November, December, and we hope to have everything installed, as I said, by March, and then it'll be outreach and education is the last piece that they'll be doing.
I just wanted to also just compliment you on how much work this is, just one of your programming
Yeah.
areas. The program coordinator for the gardens used to be like a dedicated role. And in her case, she's also the volunteer coordinator for the entire city for most of, if not all of the volunteer programs we host at the senior center and all of the community gardens and volunteer work days throughout the city, which means, weekends and working
Cleanup
around schedules. But
Yeah.
tell them about that program and then just your program areas and all. The scholarship program is another area that you oversee, so.
Yeah, so as Maria said, so our volunteer program, it's either like this week we have a garden work day, next week we have an adopt a park work day. The garden work days, we have garden staff that are on site for that. Adopt a park work days, I'm usually on site for that. We recruit for various senior center events. The senior center is great about using volunteers and gives us some nice diversity in our offerings. If people don't want to come out with me and mulch and pull weeds, they can come in here and be in a climate controlled building.
Right.
Our fee subsidy scholarship program, so this is mainly aimed at children, and summer camps are the big part of it, but anyone who resides in the city of Davis within the school district limits and meets I think it's either low income or moderate income or below, qualifies for that program and can get some money to go toward anything that's in our rec guide. So some seniors use it to come for classes. I have gardeners use it to pay their garden fees. We have, different families using it for summer camps or swim lessons or just things to make it a little easier for them to participate in our programs.
And what's the amount for that fee subsidy scholarship?
So a 1 to 2 person household is $180. 3 to 5 person household is $360, and then a 6+ is $480. And household is defined like the IRS would define your household.
Got
So, if you're using them, have them as a dependent on your taxes. If you're married filing jointly, that's your
All that
household.
criteria, yeah.
But if it's you have some people have adult children living at home, they're going to be their own household, unless they're dependent adults.
Oh, got it. And then you also do outreach for things like, you coordinate at least with other staff in the rec department for like Celebrate Davis and some of these special events, which I might share later on in the other part of the agenda, just as another opportunity for outreach. What are those events?
Celebrate Davis, the Family Fun Fest that we do, and then I work with other city liaisons to do the July 4th event. The Golden Heart Awards, which will come up probably in May because we're doing them in conjunction with the Nguyen Awards. But if you know of any exceptional middle school, high school students, Golden Heart Awards recognize there's a service award and there's a personal challenge award. And it's meant to recognize people that aren't normally recognized. So you have youth that have overcome extraordinary circumstances. They don't have to be the captain of the football team or the
Right.
class president or have a 4.0, but just someone who's overcome extraordinary circumstances and is
Out helping the community.
yes, and
Yeah.
still thriving. So
Right.
we'll do those. They originally were February timeframe, but they've moved because we have some other awards that the city hands out, so we just do them together.
There you go.
Wow, you have a very important job. Maybe you should have a table at our resource fair for volunteerism.
That would be
Yeah.
In our
awesome,
city.
actually. Yeah,
We have lots of volunteer
yeah.
opportunities.
So
And
you
we're-
oversee all the volunteers in the city of Davis.
Yeah, so my role, it varies kind of department to department. So for
I
things
bet.
that are like one day, like Senior Center has a lot of one day events, I'm helping them with the promotion, I'm setting up a sign up, communicating with volunteers like here's where you should be, here's who you're gonna check in with. Some of our departments have ongoing volunteers, so, and even here we'll have volunteer instructors. And so then I'm functioning kind of like HR. So I'm taking you through our volunteer sign up process, making sure that you fill out our packet. Those that are doing ongoing and unsupervised things do a volunteer live scan with the police department.
Right.
So yeah, I get to touch all of that.
Touch everything. Yeah,
You have an important job, Kelly.
I like it.
yeah. Thank you.
We didn't talk about
Oh, yeah.
my mutual housing stuff, so our
Oh, please,
inclusive.
share it,
We-
yes.
I'm very familiar with mutual housing. They're an excellent group.
Yes. So we had, during the pandemic, the American Rescue Act funds, and part of what we did in our group was to just do outreach to people that essentially we weren't touching with our programs. And so we worked with Cesar Chavez Complex off Olive Drive and planted a community garden for them. We've done that 2 years in a row. We come in, they help us with the planting, we do a little lunch, and then they maintain it. When we came back for year 2, the strawberry plants that we planted for year 1 were huge and still producing. So that was great. And then we've worked with Mutual Housing on essentially bringing our programs to them. So we've like brought them a science program, brought them some kids cooking classes, which are very popular. Or we did a rental at one of our pools and just had a pool party.
Language classes.
Yep, and we've done ESL classes with the library. So Davis, I think, was the only Yolo County city that didn't have an ESL program. The library does them in Westack and Winters, in Woodland, and so we are doing one here in Davis. We've done 3 so far, and we do kind of wraparound services with it. So we have staff on site that can do childcare. So if mom and dad are both going to class, that's taken care of. We provide dinner after every class, so they don't have to go home at 8 o'clock after working all day and 2 hours of class and figure out what's for dinner. So that's been very successful. And then Sandy, who's another coordinator here, does a camp out at the Migrant Center in the summer where they get 5 days of a full summer camp experience.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. I remember you running out there last summer.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So do you work with the library as well? I know Friends of the Library is pretty strong with Davis Library. Are you doing any volunteer programs with them, or do you just leave that with Friends of the Library?
I think that's just with Friends of the Library, so that we've worked on the ESL classes, but I haven't had any other
Okay.
joint initiatives. Certainly we would support their
So are you
activities.
still handling the ESL program at the library in Davis?
So we partner with the library, and we've had it at the Montgomery School campus where they have the South Davis Library.
Right.
But yeah, we will start our next round in spring, probably March or April.
Okay.
They try to time it for when the Migrant Center comes back.
Right.
How many people did you have last time?
So they enrolled 30 last time. We had been enrolling 20 and they had a wait list. And then for the last time, because we weren't sure, we've gotten the funding allocated to us out of the general fund after the grant ran out, so that was very exciting. But the last one, we weren't sure how many more we'd have, so they upped the enrollment to 30. And you lose a few.
Yeah.
As you go through the class. It's an 8-week long class. 10-week long? It's a 10-week long class. But yeah, the graduations are amazing.
Are these gardens organic?
The gardens are organic. It follows our same integrated pest management policy that the city uses, so they can't use herbicides or pesticides. It's a bit of a challenge. So I talked about the Bermuda grass. So Bermuda grass, to deal with it without an herbicide, you're really having to dig the whole plant out.
Anybody have any questions? We'll keep you updated as, give you status reports and stuff as
Sure.
things get on board, so, and, all right, well,
Thank you so much,
Speak out.
Kelly.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Very informative. Okay. Item number 6B, outreach for seniors for 2026. As you know, last year we did the library, which I unfortunately was in the hospital. That just broke my heart. That was like my big exciting thing. So we did the library last year in June, and then we did Yellow Cares in October. And I think those were both great.
Yeah, I'd like to do the library.
Same. Oh,
Really
I was
good.
going to say the same thing.
Library was
Exactly.
interesting, wasn't it? Because of the way, first of all, I think it could be very, very successful, but it was interesting because it was the elder circle completing their meeting
Right.
and ours blended in, and Joy was like, I'm just blank. Anyway, trying to facilitate one side and then come to the other. But yeah, if the commission's agreeable to it, I'd love to schedule an offsite meeting back at the library.
Oh,
Such
I think it's
a
so
central
perfect.
hub for people
Yeah.
to come who maybe otherwise wouldn't come necessarily to the senior center. And
Yeah.
we got some great comments and feedback from the elder circle there.
Yeah, I liked overlapping with the elder circle.
Yeah. What I'll just make sure is that their meeting is fully concluded so that we don't have to share our. And it turned out fine.
What I was.
It turned out great, but it was, yeah. And I'll grab you a cup of water if you want.
I have water, thank you.
Okay, so we'll do the library.
Yeah.
Okay.
This would be when?
Well, we could discuss a time frame. We could do it maybe when it gets, I'm thinking the soonest we wanna do it would be March or April. March or April, so that way we have ample time, we have a discussion topic we talked about already, for next month.
We had a lot of good presentations and a lot
Yeah.
of participation.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
the most participation.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah,
turnout.
well, we knew it would be, and I think those are the kinds of places we should be focusing on, is places where you have that kind of visibility.
Yeah.
And just that kind of interaction.
Well, and things are already in place, like we already had
Exactly.
a set audience, so to speak, so,
Exactly,
yeah.
that was really, really
Do
good.
people feel one way or another about March versus April? I'll approach with one of those 2 months.
Either one is.
March, and I can do that.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay, perfect,
March.
The sooner the better.
okay.
So March at the library.
Would March work okay for you, Ms. Gavin, Liz? Okay, all right. March library.
Library.
And what about another senior kind of community? Or an alternate location, I mean,
Well, before we had talked about, the synagogue.
that's true.
Or
We could go faith-based places, and we wanna make sure we can rotate to have, representation at all different
Right,
faith-based places.
that's where it gets tricky.
Just wanna make sure everyone's represented, but,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So, I mean,
It may also mean that it wouldn't happen on a second Tuesday. That would be, a possible, probable could be that the commission meeting was outside, it was like on a Saturday, following a service or.
right.
So that, and I don't know, cause typically when we've had offsite meetings, they have been within the regular schedule of the commission, or more or less, I would say, weekdays, let me just say that. But I could look into that. How do other people feel about it?
Hmm?
Faith places or. as
Or
opposed-
places that, are I hate to say it like pretend faith, that's terrible of me, but you know, more like the Congregational Church or what's the church that's across from the Central Park downtown that they seem to have
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah.
ton of concerts and it's a really active place. I mean, they've attended things and I think it's the Congregational Church.
Is that a I'm not positive. I don't know which church that is for sure, but I
That's a
know.
super active church.
Yeah.
And so I think really if we're going to do church at all, let's choose the most popular church in our community.
Okay.
That has the most activity. And I think from my observation, that church is like buzzing. They have a death cafe there, for example, which I've yet to attend, where people who want to just talk about death in a very open and supportive environment. So I think that could be a fantastic place.
Okay.
And just where there would be a lot of senior activity in the community, which churches are.
Mhm. Any additional ideas?
Well, what about residential communities?
Absolutely, and just because we've typically had 2 a year, that doesn't mean we can't have more. So residential communities, you thinking like for instance, like Rancho Yolo, we can even do, we could go to an assisted care facility, there's obviously independent there, so, Atria or Carlton or any number of places, URC, because we're not specific to a particular type of senior, we're just trying to connect with people in general, so University Retirement Community could be another.
They could be very good because they're having a whole new huge development right across the street that's part of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's also next to the low income apartments that are going up as well at Britton Woods.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be there are hundreds of seniors in there.
So URC could be something maybe.
Yeah, URC is a good idea.
What does URC stand?
University
University
Retirement
Retirement.
Community. They're across from the hospital.
Across from Sutter.
Yeah. And so that could be, a few months down the road later. Anything else?
Do other commissions meet in other places or just the senior commission?
Pretty much, we are the only ones that
Right.
are do the outreach in this way, and particularly and specifically because people maybe within this demographic that we're serving have the most mobility issues, and
Correct.
so, yeah.
Well, and also our disabled.
And have communities, like senior communities.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maria, do you have a list from Yellow County Housing Authority of subsidized properties in the city of Davis?
I do. We have that online, and we can absolutely get that. Absolutely.
Because I think perhaps a mailer should go out,
Mm-hmm.
or they could do the mailer themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because in some situations, you may have extended family members,
Yeah.
and the mailers, well, the Trump administration eliminated it, but it used to be in multiple languages
Yeah.
to invite seniors or people with disabilities to the center.
Okay. All right. No, I completely agree. We could probably do something with. I'll see what the budget would look like in how many households this could be mailed to, or if it could be even like this is more techie, but a lot of times the QR code for folks who have someone in the household that has a smartphone, because then you can put as much as you need to on there, but even a postcard could suffice.
Well,
But you're just talking about just in general, like come check out the center, we have a lot of, drop-in offerings and free and affordable programs.
along that line, but I think that there is a segment of the population that does not know about the senior center.
Yeah.
And also, I would like for us to invite the executive director of housing to a meeting.
If it's county, we have to be kind of mindful that as a city commission,
Yeah.
our scope is with, city programs and services. I understand it serves the city, but regarding housing, you know, really Dana, it's Dana's charge,
I disagree there, Maria.
but I can,
I disagree there because here they're called county,
mhm.
but federal funds are involved, so they can come here. And in addition to that, I think that the lady that was here earlier,
Mhm. Cindy Younger.
I think she was a person who may have, the Yellow County Housing, or housing authorities, I should say it like that, have funding for people who are unhoused.
Mhm.
That's a whole separate budget from what they normally get.
Mhm.
And I'm curious about how that funding has been allocated in the city of Davis. And this lady that came in earlier could have been a recipient of that information.
Mhm.
And I came across a senior who was 65 about 2 weeks ago at a laundromat. And she was unhoused and sleeping in her car, and she had a job.
Mhm.
And as a person on the senior commission, there was nothing I could tell her.
Mhm.
Not, absolutely nothing. And I was concerned because she had bruises on her face.
Oh.
Now, I've been here longer than any of you, but there's some political interference, in my opinion, from city council with this commission. And I do think that they have violated Title II of the ADA, and they will be hearing from me about that. And for a long time, I have asked for housing issues. Dana is one aspect of that, but Yellow County Housing is all of Yellow County, all of the cities of Yellow County. And the executive director needs to be here. He needs to be here.
I
And
can relay
these,
the message.
and there
He's
is, there are funds that are applicable to seniors from HUD. There are funds applicable to people who have cancer from HUD. There are many different programs that come under for housing from that agency. It's huge. But when you don't know, you are adversely impacted, or you can, and you can be. And I do find that an issue because people need help, and it was just gut wrenching when this lady said to me, who's employed, I'm sleeping in my car, and I'm thinking, in the city of Davis, well, she didn't say she was in the city of Davis, but I presumed that she was. And Dana deals with housing in one aspect, but I'm talking about federal funding. And there has just never been a clear meeting on this issue. And I think that too much time has passed to not have addressed that issue.
Yeah, I should have brought the handout that I brought to the Commission on Aging and Adult Services. Trump is trying to cut HUD by 70%. Right now it's in the courts, but a lot of cities are getting ready for that. That means people will lose their Section 8 vouchers and be homeless.
Right.
And if that happens, we'll have tens of thousands of new homeless in California.
Let me stop you there, Jeffrey. HUD falls under the purview of Congress. Falls under the purview of Congress. But in response to that, since this is a election year, this is really the time to make demands of your elected officials, because you won't see them again until they're up for re-election. And that person can be sitting here with the executive director from housing. We can invite the representative of the city of Davis I used to communicate with the office before I became a commissioner. So they can be invited as well and speak on something like you just said. What are you doing? You know, And this can be posted online. Meet your representative. We're gonna talk to them about housing.
Ms. Gavin, I
Mhm.
will just interject because we're kind of going off the topic of outreach to seniors. However, I do, to your point, that, you know, you're just wanting to reach community and find out how things are funded, even if it wasn't, let's say, specifically within the purview of the senior commission, which I know you disagree with, but I think the most important thing would be inviting maybe a county representative, like we have the Key Connections program coming back, and that's obviously apples and
Gail.
oranges, yes, with Gail coming next week on Tuesday about the Agency on Aging, Area 4, resources for connecting people who have an available room and people seeking a place to rent. And I could certainly invite, county housing and even have like a housing specific resource fair where you can, it may not be within the framework. And to be honest with you, when we have programming that are intended for senior participation, we will often have them at 10 in the morning sometime. It's a more ideal time sometimes for our demographic. And so I can certainly reach out. I don't know that it'll be within the forum of the commission, but the most important thing is that we get the most amount of people as can come to get the information. And certainly between now and then though, at any point, I mean, I don't have the answers to those questions of how that funding comes down, but it would certainly be within the scope of Dana for, how those funds are received and how they're distributed. So that would be a question you could ask her that she can get to. And, and I certainly can direct a question that you have, if you have a list of questions to the director at any point to respond to. That's another avenue. We don't have to wait for a monthly meeting that they may or may not ever come to. It's a matter of, you have these questions and can we get that? I can get them, but I just need the bullet point of questions and I don't know. I know I've connected you with Dana just by like email. But if you'd like me to try to reach out to the county director, I'm not saying that it is necessarily appropriate for the scope of this commission, even if we disagree, but I don't disagree that it's important information to get out to people to better understand the system and how, funding is allocated and whatnot.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what is there's a program for people who are unhoused.
Got it.
Does the housing authority participate with those funds?
Okay, so that's the question then.
And then someone from city council can sit here and answer that because they should know.
There you go.
Dana might be a good person.
Yeah.
Dana is not that person.
Okay.
Because Dana cannot sign off on these funds. That's why she is not that person.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, she may not sign off on these funds, but if council signed off on this fund, isn't her charge to manage everything with housing?
Well, I'm following the lawsuit that you're talking about. That is not, it comes to her much later down the line.
But she's still she's the person in the know.
No, she isn't. It would be a city council representative.
Okay, well, we do have a council liaison, and so this can certainly be directed as a question. So that's.
I just wanted to quickly, Carol, to address what you said about the women who came into our meeting. The woman has lived in Rancho Yolo for 18 months. She has physically assaulted 11 people living in Rancho Yolo. She spit at me and my daughter, so for her to say she doesn't know me, when we were in the pool, of all things, last summer. So she's being evicted from Rancho Yolo. She's not low income, by the way.
And just be, yeah.
But no,
She's not a low income person.
But there could be many medical reasons for her behavior.
Yes, there
I
could
do.
be.
I do want to be careful about
I
just
understand
sharing
that.
stuff for the.
I understand that, but it's even going through that whole process is in itself a great deal of distress. Regardless of the status of the mind.
But,
It's
yeah.
a great deal of distress.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
thank you.
So, that concludes our outreach for seniors for
Yeah,
2026.
TBD, so I'll come out with more of a listing and, you know, a kind of a framework and a timeline based on what I hear back from the library as well as what
Which
I
I
hear
will
back
call
from. Oh, okay, thank you. And for March, and then I'll also follow up on the church and just make sure, I will check back with city staff. I don't know if commission meetings, if there's a, you know, separation of church and state. I don't know if we go to faith-based locations, you know, if we avoid them by design, if there's just another outreach opportunity, it may not be an issue at all. And then you had mentioned also a mailer to just kind of inform the public at Senior Concentrated. We do send the newsletter out and request that it goes on the community bulletin board, but as you know, not everybody goes through into, and not all places have a really, you know, ideal lobby situation to be able to see that. So I can inquire about a mailer and some kind of more affordable way to get this information on our on our senior center offerings distributed more broadly. So thank you for that.
Thank you,
And then I'll follow up on the county stuff. I know, you know, that can kind of be, but if you have a bullet point of questions that you want me to get to our liaison, for instance, and say, you know, our council liaison is Bapu and Mr. Bapu Vaitla, and you know, like, these are the things I'd like answered. Is this something that, you know, within your scope, can you speak to that, or give me a referral to who to speak to that? I can move that forward as well.
Could we also put on the upcoming agenda, combining with the Social Services Committee?
So that's, yeah.
Let's put that on the agenda for February.
Yeah, so
Because
basically.
then we get to talk to council directly, because the meetings are held in the council
Right.
chamber.
And also, I hate to say this, but with Bapu, so-called our, you know, liaison with the council, I mean, I've been involved now with you for 18 months. I've never seen him, ever, not once. I don't think he has any interest at all. I know he's not the mayor now. We have Donna as our new mayor. I like Donna. I have a lot of respect for her.
And we have
Donna's
vice
father
mayor.
worked here, was one of the commission volunteers, was a commissioner, excuse me, former commissioner.
Donna's father?
Yeah.
How
Mr. Don
interesting.
Neville, yeah.
I think she's
Yeah.
very hardworking, and I think she's a huge, vast improvement.
So between now and then, I'll just be totally frank and candid. This hasn't been something that I've been here 17 years and
Yeah.
liaison of this commission. There hadn't, in my tenure, hasn't been a thought from, you know, from commissioners to, you know, to consider this merge. At least it's never been something that has been suggested for an agenda, for a future topic of an agenda. So first I want to make sure, would everybody, it's not about deciding anything, but is everyone agreeable to just having it as an agenda topic for next month?
Having what?
The topic is
The
as noted of,
possibility of
just to, yeah, just.
suggesting a possible merge with the
Yeah.
social services.
So I know you feel
Commission.
that way, I know you do, Marcia, and I just wanna make sure the other commissioners feel that way too. And again, there's no decision-making, it's just a matter of having the topic agendized.
Well, they end up doing a lot more than we do.
I know, but we can't discuss it
Yes.
now, but we can agendize it for next
And then
month.
we can discuss it.
Yeah, so I just
And
wanna,
In more detail.
Housing comes under that too.
Yes, it does, exactly.
so, and between now and then, obviously, I'm gonna have to, you know, discuss with our liaison and so on and so forth up the chain on, you know, what parameters are and what basically, what, if anything, can be done. I know that about 18 months ago, the subcommittee on commissions, which was made up of 2 council members, kind of made the determination of, you know, what commissions merged, and, you know, some changed a lot, some changed a little. So I don't know if they're agreeable to wanting to make those changes, but that's not up to me to decide, and that's certainly, you know, again, it's just an opportunity to discuss is what it sounds like everyone is agreeable to. So I'll find out more between now and our next meeting, so I can do that.
I would also like to suggest that we put on the agenda that there be meetings held over at City Hall?
So the reason that they're not at council chambers is because of,
ADA.
the ADA, because
Accessibility.
the pathway up, I tried with a chair, with a wheelchair, the ADA, the accessibility ramp getting up to council chamber, to that dais was, really tight. And because there's a lip of, just kind of like a wood finish piece, and it was determined that this was a more accessible location and, more
Let's
comfortable for
stop
people.
there, let's stop there.
But I can
Let's stop
certainly bring that
there,
up.
let's stop there. I understand what you said, and I don't accept that for City Hall,
Oh, okay.
especially when they receive millions of dollars from the federal government. They need to get on it,
Okay.
and it needs to be accessible because they are in violation of Title II of the ADA.
And social services also meets here some meetings, but I will, I can follow up with that.
That is
The
unacceptable.
doors are
That is
automatic.
unacceptable if you're saying, if that.
It wasn't
I
that
know-
specific.
Well, I understand what you're saying, I'm not an attorney, you know, but I have, I draft cases and I've read a lot of things. And it is unacceptable for this city to receive federal funds and the dais not be acceptable to people who are disabled. It's completely unacceptable.
Oh, okay.
And they need to go through and read what that says, what ADA says under Title II.
I didn't hear Maria say that it was inaccessible. I heard her say that it wasn't as accessible as this facility. I imagine that technically it is.
It's
like,
accessible.
Yeah.
because if they've got all the numbers about how wide things can be and where, so I'm sure that technically it is accessible. But I feel like sometimes that is used as an excuse
Mm.
to marginalize people.
Mhm.
You know, that, it's like if I go to a restaurant and the most accessible table they have is the one that's by the kitchen and by the bathrooms.
No, I
Right?
hear what you're saying.
It's
Yeah.
that's not necessarily desirable for me,
Right.
and I should have the right to say, I'm a commissioner like all these other commissioners are. All these other commissioners meet at city council chambers. Why is my commission in a separate location, far away, not at the heart of the government? And to me, that feels discriminatory.
That's very interesting to comment, and I thank you for that. I think that it was brought here, and other commissions would have preferred to be here, and because it's more accessible for parking, and it's central to the demographic that we're serving. And that's why we're also one of the only daytime commissions versus evening commissions.
Right.
So I'm sorry that I misspoke. I clearly didn't present what, but how about this? If people would like to agendize moving to council chambers, and then we'll see basically what the schedule would allow. That could mean also a time frame change for the meetings. I can certainly agendize,
The meeting
moving
could
to
be
council
in the
chamber.
evening.
Well, any or all of that, but we could put it on a future agenda, because that's how we move the meeting from the second Thursday to a Tuesday anyway, and it used to be at 3 o'clock, and now it's at 1. And it could be at council chambers, or it could be at the
Right.
senior center, and
Also, I
so,
will say.
it could be a future meeting topic is, location change.
Yeah, I will just add that we are the only commission that also has a dedicated center. I always thought initially too, oh, how weird, like, we're the only commission that's not at City Hall. But then I thought, oh, yeah, but we're also the only commission that has an entire center devoted to seniors. So when I thought about it in those terms, it made sense to me personally. It was like we had a built-in kind of audience here being the senior center. So, but I think we obviously should discuss it. Let's put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
For February.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, good,
Yeah, we-
because I agree with you both.
They- yeah.
that feeling marginalized is awful, and I think the senior commission is hugely marginalized to the point, frankly, I just feel like we don't have a purpose anymore.
I will say that city manager's office did ask for, and wanted all commissions to go to council chambers, but the commission constitution at the time felt like this was an easier accessible location for the people we were serving. But it can all be uniform, and again, it might mean a change of time based on, you know, if there's standing meetings already there, but we'll talk about it next month.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have,
Like I said, combining with the Social Services Commission would make a huge difference.
we're gonna have a great talk about that
Next month.
in
Yes.
28 days. Okay. Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.